Hey, Shalom, what's going on, man? It's John here again, and I just wanted to just hope everybody's having a great day, having a great week, and I just wanted to talk today about God's pleasure, what gives God pleasure, and why it's important for His pleasure. We know that God made all things for His own pleasure, and when He made the heavens and the earth, we see in Genesis 1:10 that God called the dry land earth, and gathering together of the waters He called seas, and God saw that it was good. Also in Romans 1:20 we see that for the invisible things of Him from the creation of the world are clearly seen and being understood by the things that are made, even His eternal power and Godhead. Now, thinking about that, we know that Jesus said that there is none good but God. So God is the one that is good. So His character is what we see in His creation. And that's probably why what He saw at the beginning when He created it was good. You know, it's kind of like God looking in the mirror for the first time. This had to give Him pleasure because He knew that He is good, but there's nothing like seeing that character manifest, probably as far as we know, for the first time. You know, he was just probably amazed by just the heavens and the earth that He made. And in Romans 8:28 it says, and we know all things work together for the good of them that love God. They work together for the good to them that love God, to them who are called according to His purpose. So all of this, like we have the heavens and the earth, the sea, the dry land, we have day and night, we have seasons on the earth where birds are flying to the south for the winter and to the north for the summer. All of this is working together, and it's working together for our good. And we can even look and have a greater understanding of our Creator and Father through the things that are made. John 3:16, a verse that most of us know already, it says, for God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son. The value that is in this gift is nothing short of amazing in itself. You see that God created the heavens and the earth. And in chapter 1 of John, I think I'm reading verse 1 through 3, it says, in the beginning was the Word, and with the Word was God, and the Word was God, and the same in the beginning was with God. All things were made by Him, by the Word, and without Him was not anything made that was made. Okay, so this would also mean that God made Lucifer and his angels, who were God's creation, and when they rebelled, they were sent away. They were cast to the earth. Their influence on mankind from the garden officially brought sin and rebellion, not only into the genes of men, but it also brought God to have to curse the ground. There's an argument in apologetics about whether we are presently born into sin. My personal observation of that is that sin has been sown into our genes by our parents and our forefathers. For example, you have the phrase like father, like son, and the reality is that if at least one parent is, for example, an alcoholic, that their child would have a great chance of being one as well. The other day I heard my cousin tell me that recently his daughter was not born into sin, and I meant to ask him whether she had ever said no to him or to his mother, you know, because like none of us has to be taught to do something rebellious or, you know, disobey our parents or say a lie to somebody or anything of that sort, but rather we have to be taught to be obedient. And we are all born with this natural inclination to sin, even if we are conscious of what is right. Now, I say all this to make the mention of the good news, of course. Going back to John 3:16, it says, it actually says, for God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son. And that right there, Jesus Christ, is no small gift at all. But when you're reading it, it's like, okay, what is this for? And it says that He gave us His only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in Him should not perish, but have everlasting life. That's amazing right there. In Romans 5:10, it says, "For if when we were enemies, we were reconciled to God by the death of his son, much more being reconciled, we shall be saved by his life." Also Colossians 1:16 through 20, it says, "For by him," by Jesus, "all things were created, and all things that are in heaven and that are in earth, visible and invisible, whether they be thrones or dominions or principalities or powers, and all things were created by him and for him." So there's another point that it says for him, for his pleasure. "And he is before all things, and by him all things consist. And he is the head of the body, the church, who is at the beginning, the firstborn from the dead, that in all things he might have preeminence. For it pleased the Father, in him should all fullness dwell. And having made peace through the blood of his cross, by him to reconcile all things unto himself. By him I say, whether they be things in earth or in heaven." All right, so what God did is he created the solution before he created the problem. He created the solution before he created the problem in order for us to be reconciled back to him. This reconciliation is what pleases him, as it is the beginning of progression in him or toward him in Jesus Christ. And that gives Jesus, the Lamb of God, glory. It's just amazing when you really look at it, and let me see. And also we have this progression, but there are things that we need. And one key thing that we need, first off, we need to believe it, and second off, we need faith. We know that faith is the substance of things hoped for, and it is the evidence of things not seen. So in Hebrews 11:6, we can read, "But without faith it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to God must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him." All right, so all these things please God, and there are way more things that please God. But I just basically want to encourage you to get in the Word today and know it for yourself. And faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things unseen. And as we read the Word, we learn what to hope for. We learn more about his promises and everything that he has for us. And when we're not focused on things above and we're focused on things of this earth, there's not too much to hope for. Even the unbeliever can tell you there's no hope out there, and there's basically nothing to hope for. But in the Word, it shows us so much more we have to look forward to. And so that's my point, and I just want to read one more verse. It comes from 2 Timothy 2:15. "Just study to show thyself approved unto God, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth." And this, once again, is pleasing to God the Father, and brings glory to the Lamb of God. So just get into the Word today, and God bless you. God's grace and God's mercy be upon you, and shalom.